Thank you to the St. Joe Foundation for supporting the Friends of the Library. And to watch more episodes like this, please visit us at focbl.com.
I'm Jennifer Steele. I am the President and CEO of the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County. The Cultural Arts Alliance, affectionately known as the CAA, began back in 1989 when a group of artists and volunteers and community members wanted to create an art show, an art festival, and they created the Grayton Beach Fine Arts Festival in 1989 in downtown Grayton Beach. And the festival became so successful that it started to generate revenue for the group, and they had to form an organization, a nonprofit, and that is how the Cultural Arts Association was formed. And that was formed in 1992. Jan Clark, Sue Foster, Jeff Ellis, Hilda McDonald, a lot of people who, some are still around, some are not with us anymore. They were really passionate about creating an organization that supported arts education and promoted local artists. And that is how the Cultural Arts Alliance came to be. In 2008, we rebranded and became the Cultural Arts Alliance. And so now we felt like that word was more inclusive of the entire community and felt more open and engaging. And so now the CAA is still the CAA, but we just changed our name to the Alliance.
Hi, I'm Doug Foltz, and you're in Salt Crust Studios, my studio right now, where I come to work every day in South Walton. We're a couple blocks off of 30A on Highway 393 right now, and this is where I get to come and create most every day here in beautiful South Walton County. I'm a painter and a fine art photographer, and have been doing that for about 30 years, and have been doing it part-time down here in the South Walton County area for most of 50 years since I met my beautiful wife, who is from Definiak Springs, but been doing it full-time here for about 12 years now, and am absolutely in love with what this place does for the arts and what it does for my art in particular. My genre tends to be nature-oriented and nature-inspired, and man, there's not a better place that I know of to find that kind of inspiration down here. Yeah, I think I've been drawing and painting since I was a little kid. My father was a hobbyist painter, and he, I have great memories of standing next to him working side by side, and that ultimately led me to an education and a career as an architect. And I started my life that way, but found pretty early that the length of time between creative conception and seeing something come to reality was too long for me in that field. It's measured in years sometimes, most of the time. So I was looking for something that gave me a little quicker satisfaction. And that's when I made the move about 30 years ago to painting for a living. It does. Sometimes it moves a little more quickly than you'd like it to when you've got deadlines and shows and that sort of thing. But it freed me up to do what I have always wanted to do as an artist, as a painter, which is to paint more of how a place feels than how it looks. How it looks is important so that you can relate to it and connect with it. But what I really want you to do is begin to get in touch with how it makes you feel. And if it makes you feel the same way I do, that's great. If it makes you feel something different, but as long as it makes you feel, then I'm happy with that.
Welcome to the unknown history of Walton County. I'm John Holland. Well, Artists at Golf Place was a collection of 8 different artists, and it's a co-op, so the artists are the employees. So they run the gallery, they do the day-to-day activities, they do workshops, art classes, they spread the word about art, and they promote and help each other in promoting each other's art. And it was like a group effort to be a part of the collective. And then I discovered the Cultural Arts Alliance, which I've been a member of about maybe 17, 18 years now. And they are also big at promoting the local artists, promoting the local art scene. And they also do an Arts Quest every year, which is a huge art festival, which brings in people from all over the country. And they like to focus on local artists, even though there are other artists from all around the world and all around the country, but they do like to focus on the local art, especially during Arts Quest.
So after 7 years in Grayton Beach as the Grayton Beach Fine Arts Festival, The festival grew, and so they had to find a new location, and it moved to Eden State Gardens, and that is when it became the Arts Quest Fine Arts Festival. The Arts Quest still exists today. It's our longest running event, happens every May, and it lived at Eden State Park for 7 years. It was at Baytown Wharf for 7 years. We had a couple years in Seaside and Watercolor, and now Arts Quest lives in Town Center at Grand Boulevard at Sandestin. So around the same time that the CAA was founded, that same group of volunteers, including Constance Rogers, who was a well-known, beloved art teacher at Butler Elementary School, they started what is now the Flutterby Children's Arts Festival. And they would sell lemonade and have arts and crafts and do all these wonderful activities for kids, and the net proceeds would go back and support after-school programs for children, for students. And we are so proud that that tradition lives on today, because we now have an Art for All program that provides grants, scholarships, funds for arts organizations to promote their arts education initiatives, and also support for artists to create work and also build on their arts education. So in 2015, the CAA created an artist collective called the Foster Gallery, which was named for Susan Foster, one of the CAA's founders. She was a photographer and one of the early gallery owners. Her photography gallery was actually located where the Red Bar is now, on the far east side. It's a sweet little photography gallery. She sold postcards and little prints, and it's something that I used to enjoy when I was a little girl. So it was really special to be able to honor her in that way and name this artist collective after Sue. So we were able to run the gallery in different locations throughout the community for about 10 years. And now we feature artists through a Foster Gallery outreach program, where you can see local artists work at Emerald Coast Theater Company or the Coastal Branch Library, Freeport Library, and other locations throughout Walton County. In 2010, the Cultural Arts Alliance founded the 30A Songwriters Festival, which is the only event in our community that really encompasses all of the southern part of our county. It's 30 plus stages and venues, 150 artists, 4 days of music, and a really important factor is that it is the largest fundraiser for the Cultural Arts Alliance. So its success is really critical to helping fund all of the other programs that we do throughout the year.
There are a number of organizations that have had a lot to do with the establishment of the arts, all the arts here in Walton County, probably dating back to the late 1800s, when the Chautauquans moved into Defuniak Springs with their winter theater work. But one of the ones that I've been deeply involved with for a long, long time is the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, the CAA. They've been around here since, I believe, '93, and I've been on their board of directors for a number of years, just rolled off, but still stay very involved with a number of committees and so forth. And what I like about that organization, and in fact, all of the organizations that I've had the pleasure of working with here in Walton County, including the Friends of the Library, Walton County Library, is the really strong sense of community and the appreciation for just how good the arts community that we have here in Walton County is. We have a collection of musicians, visual artists, culinary artists that a lot of small towns would really be proud to be a part of. And the organizations that support that, and to be honest, the community that supports it, the people that support that, are part of what makes it so rewarding. And so, not rewarding just for the artists that are here, but I'm sure, I know, rewarding for everybody that lives here as well. Again, I don't remember who said it, but if the horizon's low or if the horizon's high, it's a good painting. If the horizon's in the middle, it's not. So I tend to do these low horizon pieces, like the one that's on the easel out front. I love scenes in nature that make me realize maybe I'm not so damn important after all. And big skies and low horizons tend to make me feel that way. And we certainly get a lot of that around here. This is Apalachicola. I'm not sure about the shrimp boat right now. I may get rid of him. That may be one of those happy accidents that wasn't so happy that I may work with. But this one is probably about 50% of the way in, 50% of the way there. This is a commission for somebody who has a home down here, but also lives in Montgomery, Alabama. And I'm not sure what this one is about yet, other than that awe of big sky and big storm and low horizon. It's untitled, and I really enjoy titling pieces. I often get inspired. You're asking about what inspires work. I often get inspired by things I read or things I see, and oftentimes we'll start a painting by scrawling a few words or things on a canvas that then sort of pushes me through where things go from there. I think architecture gave me a lot of wonderful things that I use in all of my creative work right now. It gave me a love of process rather than product. I love the act of creating, and I have always said my best day as a painter was the day I fell in love with the verb painting, not the noun painting. So that architecture gave me that. But it also did give me a way of seeing and a way of understanding how to marry what I see with something functional. There's all kinds of math associated with painting and with composition, the rule of thirds, the golden mean, all sorts of mathematical things that affect the way a piece comes together and the way you experience it. And it's important that you learn those things, that you learn that craft so well that you can let go of it and start to infuse it with the things that make it art for you. And I think that ability to think left brain and right brain were probably hatched and distilled a good bit during my architectural career.
Featuring the art of Billy Gaffrey, one of the first original artists that I met when I moved to town. And she's a phenomenal artist. She's also an art teacher at the schools of Seaside. She painted the original Red Bar sign and the original Red Bar years and years ago. And she's been just a great influence to a lot of artists in the area. She also does a lot of charity stuff, donated stuff to different events. So she's just an amazing artist. My medium or style of art is I'm a photographer by trade. It's what I've been doing for close to 30 years now. I started in 1995 in Memphis, Tennessee, and moved here in 2005 and continued my photography. That has kind of evolved being here for 20 years on the beach scene, and you go into more of a beach style of art. So I have created, written, photographed, and self-published 4 books about a starfish family, which is a mom, dad, and the 3 kids, a starfish family that goes on beach adventures. And I was able to kind of use my photography as all the illustrations in the books, which has been a great addition and great kind of evolution of my style of photography, and just applied in a different way. Also featuring the artwork of Autumn Johnson. These are some of her oyster shell ornaments she's well known for. You can find her on TikTok. She's got over 1 million follower views, I think, at this point. She's also known for her tree root carvings and driftwood carvings, which are very unique and collectible. She's been around for years and years. She's one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. And she was also a part of Artists at Go Place for a long time. She was a big help, big kind of a leader of the Artists at Go Place for years. And the shark is one of her newest pieces. It's a tiger shark. This is the artwork of Annette Taunton. She also is an employee here at the gallery. She does art workshops in the area as well. And the sailfish is one of her newest pieces. So stop by Shacks at Grayton and check it out.
In 2019, we partnered with restorative justice volunteers at Walton Correctional Institution to implement a visual arts program for the inmates there. In 2019, we expanded that program with one of our 30A Songwriters Festival artists and songwriters, Caitlin Cannon, and she worked with us to create a songwriters program within the prison system where artists, songwriters go in quarterly, teach the men how to write songs, they get to perform their songs, and then a lot of the teachers and instructors and artists will be able to perform their work outside of the prison as well. So it's a really wonderful way to help them with a therapeutic arts program, but also make their voices heard outside of the prison. So in the mid-2000s, Walton County purchased a piece of property known as Bayou Arts and Antiques from an artist and local named Chick Hiddle. He is and was a renowned artist in our community and a true pioneer in establishing a place for artists to practice and create art. Walton County renovated that building. It became the Bayou Arts Center, and the Cultural Arts Alliance has been fortunate to live here. This is where we are right now at the Bayou Arts Center. We have a pottery studio that operates 7 days a week. We offer classes of all genres, disciplines, and age levels. We have a creative kids camp that happens throughout the summer, and more great fun activities for the entire community here at the Bayou Arts Center. Our newest acquisition is our tiny library, sponsored by Victoria's Cellars and Keyline Builders. And you can see we have some really sweet little art pieces in here. So we have our working studio here, but we also have a tiny gallery.
I'm Victoria's Cellars. I installed the tiny art gallery at the Cultural Arts Alliance. I also have a tiny art gallery at Van R. Butler Elementary School on 30A, and there is a tiny art gallery located between Lululemon and Barago Restaurant in Grayton Beach. The premise of the tiny art gallery is anyone can view art, leave art, or take art. It's always free, it's always open, and welcome to the community. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you come by and check it out soon.
The one thing that we're really proud of here at the Bayou Arts Center is our pottery program. We were gifted a large amount of pottery equipment from Sean and Richard Tomasello, and we have used that to really build a strong pottery program that includes open studio artists, a membership program where they can come and work every day. And now the pottery program has expanded into an outreach program called Cocktails and Clay, where folks can go to locations like Distillery 98 and have a fun cocktail and create a piece of art, and it's a really wonderful community builder. Our pottery studio also supports other organizations in our community, including Caring and Sharing and Point Washington Medical Clinic. Last year, we started a program called Clay for a Cause, where we did bowls of love, and artists created bowls that were then auctioned off and sold. And we had restaurants that donated soup. And so it was a really warm and cozy community event that supported a wonderful nonprofit. We also did Mugs for Jugs for Point Washington Medical Clinic, which was in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so it's just a great example of how art can help find solutions to challenges that might not be art related in our community, and how we can really amplify our voices by working together.
Most of my work leaves Saltcrest Studios and goes to galleries in Atlanta, Naples, New Orleans, Boston, around the Southeast. I have been involved in a number of galleries here through the Cultural Arts Alliance. The Foster Gallery, which has had a couple of locations in the time I've been associated with them. And I enjoy that. I enjoy supporting the gallery in that sense, but to be honest, the mission of that gallery is to bring emerging artists out to the public. And I've been fortunate enough to become well-known enough around here that I've probably emerged past emerging in some senses. So, and I paint big, I paint large. So not taking up wall space that could be dedicated to other artists and what they're bringing to the community, I think is important. I think that concept of working your ass off at something hard enough, long enough, so that the craft of it becomes second nature, so that you're then freed up. And if that's where one becomes expert, I don't know. But that's where, I know that's where things began to change for me, when I wasn't thinking so much about how to mix colors or the math of a painting or something else. That just was second nature for me. And then, then good things start to happen. But again, the more I can be in love with the process of creating, and no fear, man, no fear of mistakes. Our good friend Bob Ross, Happy Little Accidents, man, there are, that's where you start letting the paint work for you. And it's just a painting. What's the worst that can happen? You wipe it off and you start over again. I can't remember who who it was that said this, but I shared it with another artist here recently in a community gathering, art supporting discussion, that we have to be willing at any point in our lives to give up who we are for what we might become. And I think that's true with the painting as well. I think you have to be willing to push it a little bit more and not be afraid. Having said that, I do like when I finish a piece to have it around the studio for a week or two and walk by and look at it, and then oftentimes can walk up and with a single stroke ruin everything that I had done previously. But that's where you learn. 15 years ago, and I think when the time finally comes that my time is up here in this life, I think it's they're going to strap me to this one, set us on fire, and push us out into the Gulf. But it actually came to me, begun by another artist. The gold frame and the wood panel behind it came to me as an unfinished painting, and I worked on it for probably 5 or 6 years. And if you look at it closely, there's a lot of layers in there that acanthus leaves and things painted over one another. And finally, one day I had just finished a series on coastal birds, and this male egret was sitting across the studio on an easel. And I remembered, I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt's line that's also somewhere here in the studio. It says, "Do one thing every day that scares you." So I took a skill saw and cut a 3x4 foot hole in a painting I'd been working on for 6 years and pushed the canvas into the wooden panels, and that kind of opened things up for me. It's about cycle of life. He is in breeding plumage, looking over his shoulder, waiting for a female egret to make baby egrets. And the chrysalis, of course, are the beginnings of emerging butterflies. And this guy, if you look around the studio, there are lots of bones. This is the inside of the top half of a saltwater catfish skull. We call them crucifix cats down here at the beach. The ones you catch right here off of 30A.
Well, Cultural Arts Alliance gives you the opportunity to kind of work with different artists and collaborate. It gives you a chance to promote on their website, and gives you a chance to be a part of Arts Quest, the art festival every year. They also are involved in the Underwater Museum of Art, which is amazing. They do art collaboratives. They even do art grants, where you can get a grant as an artist through the government, and they'll help you do the paperwork and apply and get approved. So they've just been a great wealth of information for any artist in the local area. Yes, if you're lucky enough to know of or have any of the pottery or work by Dwight Ward, you are lucky. Dwight Ward has been around for years and years. One of the first artists I met when I moved here 20 years ago. He is the original founder of Artists at Gulf Place 23 years ago. He is a great potter. He makes different ceramic fish like this one here. He makes different pottery like bowls and platters and cups and coffee mugs, and just an amazing guy. He also is the inspiration behind what we call as Dwight Fest, which is a festival every year about for live music, local musicians, local artists, for the locals to enjoy. And also Dwight Fest started a foundation where they raise money to help out other artists in the area that fall on hard times, whether they have health issues or kind of just need a helping hand. Dwight Fest was created for just helping other artists. Great example of pottery by Dwight Ward. Amazing piece. This is the artwork of Casey Caldwell, another one of the owners here at Shacks of 30A. And if you have a favorite musician or a favorite musical quote, be sure and check her out, because I'm sure she's got your favorite artist. Eileen West is an amazing artist. She's been around for a long time. She loves to focus on music and musicians of the area, including Franco Washboard Jackson. But when I moved here 20 years ago, the artwork was a little more of the kind of a folk art style. And it's evolved since then, but this is definitely a good representation of the style of art that's been around for a long time in Santa Rosa Beach. And then she has a piece down here, if you look, that is very cute, and it has different sentimental images throughout, like the different labels, like heaven to hell. The first book came out about almost 10 years ago now, coming up on my 10-year anniversary of the Adventures of the Starfish Family. I actually have a copy here. And it's Mom, Dad, and the 3 kids, the Starfish Family Go on Beach Adventures. That led into a second book called The Starfish Family Sees the Day, which led into a coloring book called Color Me Starfish, which is a 30-day adventure book. You can find all these books at the Shacks at Grayton, which is where we are now. We can also find them at Sundog Bookstore in Seaside, where I've actually done 38 book signings, and also at Hidden Lantern Bookstore, which is in Rosemary Beach. I've done about 16 or 17 book signings there, and also at my website, thestarfishfamily.com.
The Cultural Arts Alliance also has a robust public art program called Art in Public Spaces. And we partner with private and public sector organizations to create artwork for all to see in public. We have worked with FDOT and Walton County to install murals and sculpture in the US Highway 98 underpass at Inlet Beach. We also worked really closely with Scenic Walton on that project. We worked with the St. Joe Company and the St. Joe Community Foundation to install sculptures along Watersound Parkway. We have helped install murals and other public art in Defuniak Springs. And our very first public art project, ironically, was in the Gulf. It's the Underwater Museum of Art. And we have 48 sculptures underwater on the floor of the Gulf that act as artificial reef. And that project was started with one of our board members, Allison Wicke, who's an artist and a diver, and the South Walton Artificial Reef Association. So we all partnered to create this project, the first of its kind in the United States. And it is now being replicated in other areas of the country, and we're really proud of that program. The CAE's mission is to foster creativity through the inclusive and collaborative advancement of the arts. And collaboration, obviously, is at the root of that. So we partner with other nonprofit organizations, not just arts organizations, but nonprofit organizations in our community to further our mission through their work. And amplifying our voices in that way. We work with Point Washington Medical Clinic to install work in their lobby. We work with the Children's Volunteer Health Network on a program called Camp Girl Power, which provides day camps for 3rd through 5th grade girls to teach them about hygiene and self-empowerment and art and music and dance. A few years ago, we started working with the Boys and Girls Club of the Emerald Coast to create Art Club. So one of our program managers, Elise, goes into the Boys and Girls Club every week to teach classes to elementary and middle school aged kids. They create projects. They then are a part of our Songwriters Festival, Arts Quest, Flutterby Festival. So their work is seen not just within the Boys and Girls Club, but throughout the entire community all year. If anyone is interested in supporting our work or becoming a member, joining as an artist, or just attending our events, we encourage you to do so at culturalartsalliance.com.
To watch more episodes like this, please visit us on YouTube, or we have a viewing area located at the South Walton Coastal Branch Library. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode on the history of the arts of Walton County. Our library is dedicated to fostering the love of reading and providing resources for lifelong learning. The Walton County Library has had a long history of promoting art in the local community. The library was designed with 6 bays at the entrance to display art for the quarterly art rotation called Art in Public Places. I look forward to working together to make our library a vibrant hub for our community. Thank you.